I would like to welcome you to the General Brown Central School District's Reopening Our Schools Parent Forum. My name is Barbara Case, and I am Superintendent of Schools. I would like to take this time to introduce members of the leadership team. Lisa Smith, Assistant Superintendent, Missy Nabinger, Director of Student Services, Nicole Donaldson, Junior Senior High School Principal, Lori Noley, Assistant Principal and Athletic Director, Joe O'Donnell, Brownville Glen Park Principal, Dave Ramey, Dexter Principal, Gary Grimm, Operations Manager, Jim Nevers, Food Service Director, Jason Valentine, Assistant Director of Transportation, and Mike Parabeck, Network Administrator. These individuals have spent countless hours since March preparing for the initial closure of school, planning and executing the continuity of learning in the spring, ensuring all students had the opportunity for learning, identifying needs, and distributing technology to families, cleaning and disinfecting our school buildings, preparing and distributing meals to families through the end of the school year, and preparing for the many details for our reopening in just a few short weeks. As superintendent, I am honored to work alongside these individuals who have devoted their summer to ensure we have considered every detail as we move towards reopening. The guidelines and expectations placed upon schools have evolved, and the leadership team has committed to collaborate with each other as well as area schools and agencies to put the health and safety of our students and staff in the forefront. I would like to also take this time to recognize a few of our many partners, some of which include Jefferson, Lewis, Hamilton, Herkimer, Oneida, BOCES, and their component school districts, Community Action Planning Council, Jefferson County Administrator, Department of Health and Emergency Medical Services, Jefferson Community College, the YMCA, River Hospital, Samaritan Health, Carthage Hospital, United Way, and BCA architects and engineer teams. These partners have answered emails, countless questions, and met with us in order to help us better prepare for reopening. I would like to say thank you for their efforts. Our district's mission is to prepare and inspire each student to meet future challenges. As we prepare for the reopening of schools, our priority is to safeguard the health and safety of our students, their families, and our staff. Throughout the pandemic, the goals and focus areas of the Strategic Plan 2019-2022 have guided our decision-making. The focus areas of the strategic plan are academic achievement, intentional investment in learning, and school culture and community. The strategic plan also helps guide the annual goals set by the Board of Education. I encourage you to visit the district's website for the specific goals related to each of the focus areas. This is a reminder that the information in this presentation is up to date as of August 17, 2020. The situation related to the COVID-19 pandemic has been very fluid, and we have been forced to change course on several occasions, depending on the guidance and requirements set forth by Governor Cuomo, New York State Department of Health, Jefferson County Department of Health, New York State Education Department, and the CDC. We encourage you to check the district's website often for updates. The most recent updates related to the reopening plan can be found under the quick link, Reopening Our School. First, I'd like to start off with health and safety. Health checks and screenings. All employees and students must have health screenings and temperature checks conducted daily prior to entering the bus and reporting to school. The district will be using the COVID-19 Health Assessment app, which was created by NARIC and Capital Region BOCES for school districts across New York State. The screening will ask if your child has had any of the typical symptoms related to COVID-19, which include cough, shortness of breath, fever, chills, muscle pain, fatigue, sore throat, new loss of taste or smell, and/or gastrointestinal symptoms. In addition, parents will be required to report if their child has a fever at or above 100.0 degrees Fahrenheit. As an added precaution, the district has purchased kiosks for entrances at each building. As individuals walk past the kiosks, they will indicate if employees and students are permitted to enter the building based on body temperatures. They will not report specific body temperatures simply if the individual is cleared or not to enter the building based on the New York State standard of 100.0 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a reminder that if your child is showing any symptom of COVID-19, they should not attend school. Face coverings and PPE. Students and staff and visitors are expected to wear face coverings at all times, indoors and outside, including on the school bus and in classrooms. Students will be allowed to remove face coverings during meals and for short breaks, so long as they maintain appropriate social distancing. Social distancing. Members of the leadership team will coordinate bus schedules for each building, accepting and dismissing 1 or 2 buses at a time in order to reduce crowded hallways. We will use multiple drop zones where possible. As much as possible, students will be kept in cohort groups and not relocated to various rooms during the day. Teachers and service providers will come to them when possible rather than pull them out for instruction or services. Most classrooms, depending on the actual size of the room, will have between 10 to 13 students attending daily. Desks will be positioned so that students maintain 6 feet distance between them. All desks will be facing forward. Students will limit sharing of materials and tools, and any supplies or devices that must be shared will need to be cleaned and disinfected between each use. Management of ill persons. If an employee or student feels sick during the school day, they will report to the nurse's office for an evaluation and potentially be directed to a supervised isolation area prior to being picked up and sent home immediately. Testing. If an employee or student is symptomatic, they will be sent home immediately. They must seek medical attention and must have a note from a medical provider, as well as a negative COVID-19 test and resolution of symptoms before returning to school. Families should work with their primary physician for testing. WellNow Urgent Care and North Country Family Health can perform COVID-19 testing. The district will be working with the Jefferson County Department of Health to identify positive cases of COVID-19 based on test results. Contact tracing. In the event of a positive case in the school community, General Brown Central School District will follow all directives from the Jefferson County Department of Health. Jefferson County Department of Health officials will conduct case investigations of individuals with confirmed diagnosis of COVID-19. The district will work with the Jefferson County Department of Health to identify potential contacts. School staff will maintain logs of students on buses and in classrooms, as well as teachers and service providers that enter classrooms at various times during the day. Those who come in contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19 will be referred to a local testing site and can return to school after the 14-day quarantine period. We recognize that some students and employees with underlying chronic conditions are at increased risk for COVID-19. Our goal is to keep these individuals safe while they participate in daily educational activities. Parents of children that are considered high risk should speak with their child's doctor to determine the best options for their child. The district will work with the medical provider to identify and provide further accommodations to the greatest extent possible to better support the child. The same would be true for any employee who is considered at higher risk. Visitors to our buildings. No outside visitors or volunteers will be allowed on school campuses. Parents and guardians will report to the front office and not go beyond that space. Drop boxes will be available at every building, including the district office, and any essential visitors will be required to wear face coverings and will be restricted in their access to the school buildings. Cleaning and disinfecting. The district will ensure adherence to hygiene, cleaning, and disinfecting requirements as advised by the CDC and Department of Health. Regular cleaning and disinfecting will occur with more frequent cleaning and disinfecting for highly touched surfaces. Cleaning and disinfecting will occur at least daily, with some areas being addressed more frequently throughout the day. With no students in attendance on Wednesdays, it will be designated a deep cleaning day. All employees and parents are encouraged to familiarize themselves with a chart that outlines the school protocol for symptomatic or positive diagnosis for COVID-19 of a student or employee. Please note that in Jefferson County, a student or employee who is symptomatic must have a note from a medical provider and a negative COVID-19 test, as well as resolution of symptoms for each instance the child or employee exhibits such symptoms in school or reports such on a daily screening. It should be noted that a positive case of COVID-19 in a classroom does not guarantee that the classroom or school building will be closed. The class that meets in that classroom may move to a different physical location, and the district will work with the Jefferson County Department of Health to make that determination based on contact tracing. Child nutrition. Before we discuss school breakfasts and lunches for reopening, I'd like to share some information to which we are very proud. Between March 18th and June 30th, which was 75 school days, the General Brown Central School District provided 15,796 meals that included breakfasts and lunches daily at 4 different locations. Those locations included the Junior Senior High School, Glen Park Fire Department, North Pole Fire Hall, and the Pillar Point Fire Station. When schools reopen, school meals will continue to be available to all students, including those attending in person and those learning remotely. Students may also bring lunches from home. Hot meals will be available for those students attending school in person. Students will pick up their breakfast and lunch meals in the cafeteria, and they will be eaten in classrooms. Students with allergies will be offered alternative meal items, as well as an alternative location to eat their meals. Currently, under the Federal Child Nutrition Program, students will pick up and pay for their meals unless they qualify for free and reduced meals. No PIN pads will be used by students to pay for their meals. Cashiers will look up students' names individually to charge for the meal. We are waiting for their guidance and requirements for meal distribution to remote learners. Transportation. All students are entitled to transportation by their home district to the extent required by law. As a reminder, parents should take their children's temperature prior to the children boarding the buses. If a child has a body temperature of 100.0 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, the child should not board the bus or attend school. Students are required to socially distance on the bus to the extent that is practicable. There will be one student sitting in each seat. However, members of the same household may be seated together. Therefore, the number of students on each bus may vary from 23 to 30. Bus schedules will be communicated to parents no later than the first week in September. There will be no late buses until further notice. All buses will be cleaned and disinfected once daily. However, high contact spots will be wiped down after the morning and afternoon runs. To ensure social distancing, the first students on the bus will sit in the rear. The last students on the bus will sit towards the front and will be the first to disembark. The DOT currently prohibits hand sanitizers on school buses. School buses will not be equipped with hand sanitizer due to its combustible composition and potential liability to the students and driver. Students and employees must not carry personal bottles of hand sanitizer with them on school buses. A log of all students riding the bus daily will be maintained for contact tracing purposes should the need arise. Parents are encouraged to transport their children to and from school daily. If you are willing to transport your child, please call the bus garage. If parents are able to drop off their child in the morning but unable to pick their child up in the afternoon, simply call the bus garage to explain your transportation needs so that we can try to best accommodate your needs. However, multiple drop-off or pickup locations should be limited so that we can properly maintain social distancing and accommodate the reduced capacity for the bus as required by the Department of Health and New York State guidelines. Transportation requests will not be guaranteed after the start of school because of bus capacity limitations. Social and emotional well-being. The social and emotional well-being of students and staff is a priority for the district, especially throughout this pandemic. To support our school community and to ensure students' social and emotional learning, the district has incorporated social and emotional learning activities within the curriculum. During in-person or remote learning, junior, senior high school students who are in distress or in need of social and emotional support may go see or call the counselor at any time. Students in the elementary buildings may go see or call the social worker, counselor, or psychologist at any time. Classroom teachers can assist with this process. The Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, PBIS team in each building can identify key topics related to social and emotional learning to incorporate into our daily happenings. We recognize that students, families, and employees may need social and emotional supports, and the district has made mental health resources available. To ensure the district is able to follow all New York State Department of Health and New York State Education Department guidelines for the health and safety of all students and staff, in-person instruction will have to be done at 50% capacity. To do this, students will be assigned one of two teams. Team A will attend in-person instruction on Monday and Tuesday. Team B will attend in-person instruction on Thursday and Friday. Wednesday will be a virtual day for all students. This day will also serve as a deep cleaning day for our school buildings. There will be 5 days of instruction per week. 2 days will be in person and 3 days will be remote learning. The district considered many variables when placing students on teams A and B, including balancing classrooms, transportation, support services, food service capabilities, and meeting the specific needs of children, all while maintaining social distancing requirements. Therefore, the district will not honor requests to switch team assignments. School districts for the reopening of school will be designed to minimize movement of students, or movement will be staggered within the building to prevent congestion in the hallways and high traffic areas. To the extent possible, students will remain in small cohorts if and when leaving the classroom, such as for recess or any necessary transition, so as to reduce their exposure to additional students. After multiple conversations with our teachers about virtual learning, teaching and learning, the district has concluded that we will be able to offer a 100% remote-only instructional choice for families. Families who choose this option must be willing to commit to this model for the entire 2020-21 school year. All instruction, hybrid or remote only, will include daily digital lessons covering all curriculum content. The digital lessons will be asynchronous instruction, meaning students do not have to attend a live webcast of a lesson. Instead, they can access the lesson at their convenience of the family. Families may express their interest in this option by completing the 100% remote learning enrollment form, which can be found on the district website. Parents of students with an IEP or 504 plan that choose the remote-only option should recognize that all special education services will be offered virtually to the greatest extent possible. Parents may choose to switch their child at any time during the school year to 100% remote learning. However, we cannot accommodate students switching back to the hybrid model of instruction. They would return to in-person instruction when we no longer face restrictions on capacity and the district opens for in-person instruction for all students, or during the 2021-2022 school year, should it be permissible. The district will be using online learning platforms and will provide resources and training to all students, families, and staff. Grades pre-K through 2 will use Seesaw Online, and grades 3 through 12 will use Google Classroom. Teachers will provide correspondence and instruction for students and parents using these platforms. In addition to virtual instruction, remote learning could also include students using hard copy textbooks and/or learning kits. When these methods are used, teachers will establish a plan for the delivery of the materials, if necessary, as well as the submission of student work. In the event the schools are shut down due to a COVID-19 outbreak, the district will be prepared to easily transition to remote-only learning for all students. A limited number of Chromebooks are available to families that do not have a computing device in their household. Please contact your child's building principal if your family needs a device. Wi-Fi is available at the junior-senior high school student parking lot, to download materials or to work live on instruction. In addition, Wi-Fi is available for free at the Brownville Glen Park Public Library parking lot. The YMCA SAC program will be offering before and after school child care at Brownville Glen Park Elementary School for students from both Brownville Glen Park and Dexter Elementary Schools. If a parent is interested in enrolling their child in SAC, they should contact the YMCA. In addition, the YMCA will be offering full-day childcare with an educational component for General Brown students at Jefferson Community College. Families will be given the option of a 2-day or 3-day care opposite the days the children attend school in person. There are no 5-day options, and this is for students in the hybrid model only. School activities. The district is exploring the types of activities that can be conducted in a safe environment with appropriate social distancing protocols, including virtual field trips. Interscholastic sports have been delayed by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association at least until September 21st. Additional guidance on athletic activities is forthcoming. When it becomes available, the district will communicate that information to families. In order for the district to adhere to the New York State Department of Health and New York State Education Department guidance, in-person group gatherings such as concerts and musical performances will not be permitted. The district will not be offering any events or school activities at this time that would involve students traveling to another school. The only exception to this would be career and technical education or other programs through BOCES, including special education programs or services that are related to students' instructional programs. The district offered the 100% remote learning option to families in order to provide children with equitable educational opportunities without forcing the child to be present in the public school buildings if the parents or children are not ready to do so. If interscholastic sports and activities resume, students must be participating in the hybrid model of instruction unless, of course, the district has completely reopened with in-person instruction for all students. When additional information related to athletic programs becomes available, the district will communicate it to the families. The General Brown Central School District Board of Education has recognized the importance of regular attendance for students to reach their fullest potential. Daily attendance during the hybrid and 100% remote learning models will include time spent in the school building as well as engagement with virtual lessons. If your child does not participate in assigned activities on a remote learning day, he or she will be marked absent. Parents of students who are chronically absent will receive notifications from the school nurse, counselor, teacher, and/or principal. Technology and connectivity. Students will need a device, which could be a desktop computer, laptop computer, Google Chromebook, tablet, iPad, or any other comparable device in order to participate in hybrid and remote learning. Access to the internet is optimal but not required. Families who do not have a computing device should contact their child's building principal. Devices will be prioritized to families with no computing device at home. Unfortunately, the district does not possess enough devices to provide one for every student. We will work with families to meet their specific technology needs. Please communicate specific needs to the main office of the school prior to reopening, or if the classroom teacher should find that you need a specific support. For example, should your desktop or laptop not have built-in speakers, the district could provide a set of headphones for your child to use for remote instruction. For families without internet access in their home, Wi-Fi will be available in the parking lot outside the junior-senior high school gym, as well as in the parking lot of the Brownville Glen Park Public Library, so that instructional materials can be downloaded and accessed later at home. Be sure to complete an urgent needs form on the website to let us know how we can better support your family. Teaching and learning. The district was required to submit a reopening plan that included 3 different models for teaching and learning. Complete in-person instruction will commence when restrictions placed upon schools because of social distancing are lifted based on little or no transmission of COVID-19. Governor Cuomo, New York State Department of Health, and Jefferson County Department of Health will determine when schools can reopen with little or no restrictions. This will be based on scientific data with established metrics across New York State. Currently, the district is scheduled to open using the hybrid model of instruction. Students are scheduled to return to school on September 8th. Students on Team A will attend that day. September 9th will be a virtual day for all students. Students on Team B will report on September 10th and 11th, and the schedule will resume as normal from there. The junior-senior high school is planning some type of virtual orientation for all incoming 7th graders. Open houses will be switched to a virtual model. Information will be forthcoming on that. If there is a holiday or unexpected school closure, say a snow day, the school will resume without making up that day. We will just continue on as normal with the schedule. The first several days of school will be spent reconnecting with students. This will also be the time we will teach and review proper hygiene, hand washing, social distancing, and safety protocols to mitigate the further spread of COVID-19. We anticipate that there will be many unknowns felt by the students and staff, and our goal will be to make them feel safe at school. While we cannot 100% guarantee that COVID-19 will not affect our schools, we will be vigilant in focusing on health and safety of our students and staff. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, the district will be using online platforms to provide daily instruction. Dexter Elementary students will be using Seesaw, and Brownville Glen Park and the junior-senior high students will be using Google Classroom. WebEx is the district's platform for video conferencing. Training and resources associated with both learning platforms will be provided to students and staff prior to the start of school. All instruction, hybrid or remote only, will include daily digital lessons covering all curriculum content. The digital lessons will be asynchronous instruction, meaning students do not have to attend a live webcast of the lesson. Instead, they can access the lesson at the convenience of the family. This might include video lessons, related activities, and associated work that needs to be turned in to be graded. Virtual learning will not be full-day instruction. It will be a daily lesson with subsequent activities to which the student can interact. Teachers will be given flexibility in how they provide virtual lessons. However, in-class instruction will be used for filling gaps in learning, providing interventions, enrichment, and assessments. For those students participating in 100% remote learning, Wednesday's virtual day may be the opportunity for teachers to meet their needs similarly, but using virtual means, such as video conferencing. There may be some printed materials or learning kits. The district will work with families to distribute such materials. Students needing support with digital lessons or homework may contact their classroom teachers to schedule a time for additional academic support. Students will be assigned to cohorts by classrooms and will remain with that cohort throughout the day to the greatest extent possible. Instruction in special areas will be delivered to the students in their classrooms. Students will still participate in physical education classes. Whenever possible, students will use outside space for physical education instruction. We will adhere to the New York State Department of Health guidelines of maintaining 12 feet between students when engaging in physical activity. Masks will be required at all times. There will be no use of locker rooms, or PE lockers. The individual school buildings will communicate their daily school schedules to parents directly so that you and your child will better understand what the child's day will look like. There may be a time that all students will attend school via remote instruction, whether that is a statewide decision, as it was last spring, or a local decision made by Jefferson County officials or the school district. We do believe that by providing daily digital lessons for hybrid and 100% remote learning models starting in September, we will be able to transition rather easily to a district-wide remote instruction should the need arise. In addition, should a student not be able to attend school due to illness or extended quarantines, digital lessons will still be available for continued learning. While remote learning in the spring was review only, remote instruction in the fall will follow grade level curriculum with new content. Also, attendance will be taken daily and students will earn grades. Students' work will be evaluated by classroom teachers in the same manner prior to the pandemic. Teachers will record progress reports and grades, which will be sent home at 5 and 10-week intervals. Students will have the same teacher for hybrid model instruction, 100% remote learning instruction, and district-wide remote instruction. When a teacher is unable to work, the district will utilize substitute teachers as necessary. There is a possibility that student teachers will provide instruction alongside the classroom teacher. We will follow the New York State Department of Health and New York State Education Department guidelines as it pertains to student teachers. Students will still attend career and technical education or other programs through BOCES. The district will coordinate with BOCES for student programming. Students will be transported to BOCES on the days their team attends school at General Brown. If career tech ed students can provide their own transportation to BOCES the other days, and BOCES is able to accommodate their presence and still maintain social distancing as required by the Department of Health, State Ed, and Jefferson County Department of Health, we will give permission for students to attend more days than their assigned Team A or Team B days at General Brown. 100% remote only learning is not an option for career and technical education students. Parents still have the option to homeschool their child should they decide to do so. Parents who wish to homeschool will provide direct instruction to their child. They must provide written notice to the school district of their intent, submit an individualized home instruction plan, and provide quarterly reports and evaluations to the district. The district will work with its committees on special education and preschool special education to ensure that students' individualized education plans can be followed during both in-person and remote learning. We will also continue to support our focus on inclusion in general education classrooms. Some students with disabilities may attend in-person instruction up to 3 days per week. We consider their individual needs when scheduling additional days for instruction. Currently, we are not able to accommodate additional in-person instruction for all students with disabilities because of classroom capacities. We will continue to monitor the students' progress and adjust schedules if necessary. Some services may still be provided virtually to better support the students. Students that attend special education programs through BOCES will still attend those programs. BOCES will communicate their reopening plans. The General Brown Central School District would like to thank you for your patience and ongoing support as we work through this ever-changing situation. Now more than ever, it's important that we teach the children that we are resilient and we can overcome challenges by thinking creatively for out-of-the-box solutions and by collaborating with others. I encourage all parents to read the reopening plan as well as the frequently asked questions document on the district website. We tried to incorporate the questions submitted earlier into the presentation. If you still have an outstanding question, you may submit it in the chat session. If we are unable to answer the questions because decisions or guidance has yet to be released, we will update the frequently asked questions document with the information. Please refrain from asking child-specific questions in the chat session. If you have a specific question related to your child or your family situation, please contact the principal of your child's school. I have asked leadership to assist with the facilitation of questions, and they may be answering the questions based on their knowledge of the topic. Thank you again, and we'll open to questions.